Hi there, my name's Andy. I'm down here in this little corner here. Thanks for tuning in. Usually I go out and speak with businesses and individuals face to face to chat through accountancy training, apprenticeships, and discuss the funding that's available. Now, obviously at the minute, as most people are, I'm working from home. I'm trying to stay positive and productive. And it occurred to me that clearly many people will be in the same boat and they might appreciate a short introduction to some of the areas that I normally cover when I go out and chat with people. Now, some organisations might be completely snowed under at present, but I imagine if you're tuning in to watch this, you may, like me, be finally getting around to some of the things that have been on your to-do list for ages, but you've just not had time for them. One of those areas might be apprenticeships, and it may well have risen up the agenda suddenly as businesses start to look at ways they can take advantage of funding and also make the most of the next few weeks, turn these challenging times into a positive opportunity. So what's your current situation? I imagine you've got staff working at home. They may have less work to do, so productivity may have been reduced. You'll undoubtedly have less visibility over your teams. Here's where a structured learning program available through a virtual classroom can help to keep your team members motivated and productive. And the regular reviews and feedback that you get from our coaches and tutors can help as an additional resource for you to manage your teams remotely and monitor their progress. Now, longer term, let's just say, it could be September until we get back to some kind of normality. This period right now is a great chance for you to bring new skills back into the business to tackle the tough future ahead. So your existing staff can come back into the workplace, having spent their time at home upskilling. They can be more effective when they return. As a business, you may have slimmed down, put a hold on recruitment, so September could be a really good time to bring new apprentices in to bolster your workforce and push on into the future. Importantly, funding is there to help with this. So let's recap the 2017 apprenticeship changes. A big change, they're no longer funded via taxpayer money, but through a levy on large businesses with an annual wage bill over £3 million. If you're in that category, an additional 0.5% of your monthly payroll goes into this digital account that can only be spent on apprenticeships. So different departments will be working with L&D and finance to secure that training budget for their teams. If your team isn't doing this, chances are others will be. If nobody is, those funds expire after 2 years. Where does that expired funding go? It goes to small to medium-sized businesses. In reality, about 90% of companies are in this category, and it means they can access apprenticeship training but only pay 5%. It's a huge opportunity to professionalise staff at a fraction of the cost. There's also additional grants available for apprentices aged 18 and under, which we can help you to access. Now, the other main change was to how apprenticeships are designed. Now, I'm going to focus this on accountancy qualifications, as hopefully that's what you're here to find out about. Now, the old NVQ model, where an apprentice took a qualification whilst also ticking off a series of practical units through work-based observations, that has gone. It was very training provider driven. It only covered the lower level qualifications such as AAT, ATT, or the kind of foundation certificate level of one of the professional accounting qualifications. And you can see on this slide here, the old apprenticeships covered from level 2, which is GCSE, up to level 4, which is kind of like your first year of university level. Now, the new apprenticeships are called standards. These have been developed by employer groups, and they clearly list all the technical knowledge and practical skills and professional behaviours that an apprentice is expected to demonstrate at their relevant level of apprenticeship. Now, the knowledge aspect is covered just as it was before by studying towards and completing exams in your chosen qualification. That's not changed. But you can see now this covers right the way up to level 7, master's level, and it allows an apprentice to become a fully qualified professional accountant. The skills and behaviours elements are a key and interlinked part of the programme. Apprentices now go through an endpoint assessment to complete their programme. The endpoint assessment comprises of the case study element of their technical qualification, but also with this externally third-party assessed portfolio of evidence that covers the more practical elements of the standards. It's a much more comprehensive and relevant benchmark to progress your staff members through to their professional qualification. So what does all of this mean? It means an apprenticeship offers a much more supportive programme that links practical skills to the technical knowledge. It's a much more relevant and memorable learning experience as opposed to the learn and churn of studying towards an exam and then moving straight on to the next paper. It creates a much more well-rounded professional, someone who can link their studies to the real business world. Apprenticeships come with the additional resource of our skills coaches who will support you and the learner. And of course, there's funding available to support you upskilling your staff. We'll look at each of these points in turn. Now, our supportive apprenticeship programs start with a full day induction, which takes the apprentice through everything they need to know. Here they'll meet their skills coach, who monitors their progress against a structured learning plan, and this is checked regularly through the program, keeping the line manager involved throughout. Now, the professional qualification teaching must take place during working hours, usually in the classroom, although things are a little different at present and we're running all of these classes online. Our expert tutors are subject specialists with real-world experience. Our pass rates and feedback are consistently excellent, so you know that your staff members will receive the most comprehensive tutor support. As well as the paper-based learning materials, all our students have access to additional resources on a virtual learning platform, which will help them prepare for their exams. Line managers are supported every step of the way, and as part of this, apprentices and line managers have access to an electronic portfolio system. This makes it easy to clearly keep track of progress and record the apprentice's work-based learning. We believe the practical skills and professional behaviours are equally as important as the technical knowledge. So your apprentice will therefore attend additional classroom courses that are completely separate to the professional qualification studies. These interactive practical skills sessions are covered by our Impact Skills program. The core program at level 3 and the advanced and professional program is there for the level 4 to 7 apprentices. During these sessions, our tutors and skills coaches will introduce the apprentices to the key concepts surrounding topics such as problem solving, leadership, teamwork, and communication. We then engage the apprentices in group activities, so practical tasks, projects such as presentations and scenario-based discussions, so they can further explore the issues involved. The sessions cover a range of skills which are invaluable to the running of your business. These are skills that can be really difficult for you to develop in the busy day-to-day working environment. So apprentices will come back into the workplace armed with these additional skills, but with clear follow-up tasks that they then need to evidence that are based on actual work that they do to support your business's goals and needs. Now, the apprenticeship standards encourage linking of the knowledge, the skills and behaviours. And First Intuition, we've designed our apprenticeship programs with this synergy kind of firmly in mind. Here's an example taken from the level 7 accountancy apprenticeship. The standard requires the apprentice to be able to demonstrate business acumen through knowledge of business objectives and how to measure success. Now, the technical tuition and exams will cover this element. The exams will also test business insight skills, but this is where the practical side really comes into play. Those skill sessions and the work-based tasks will demonstrate the apprentice's ability to influence real-life decisions and test their grasp of different business environments and approaches. Now, the overarching professional behaviour running through all of this is how that apprentice adds value by anticipating your organisation's needs and requirements to identify opportunities. This goes way beyond just being able to pass an exam. It's about combining the wider practical skills and behaviours and putting knowledge into practice so it becomes embedded. Studying in this way is much more engaging, and it keeps the apprentice motivated by providing relevance to what they learn. Finally, it creates well-rounded future leaders, not just technical experts. Now, I've mentioned them already plenty of times, but it's because the skills coaches play a key role as a dedicated point of contact and support for you and your apprentices. They support the inductions and skill sessions, as well as visiting you and the apprentice at work every 12 weeks. Again, these, of course, are currently being run via webinar. In between those face-to-face interactions, they are regularly in contact with the apprentice by phone, email, and over the e-portfolio system to keep them on track and support with any problems or queries. Our skills coach will review the work-based tasks that are submitted and sets targets for the apprentice to work towards. They're a valuable additional resource to the apprentice and you as a line manager. So whether you're a levy payer or an SME, there's funding to be utilised. So looking into the costs and what the programmes cover is really important. So here we have the 3 accountancy and tax-based apprenticeships. I'll just run through them. Level 3 takes around 15 months. It covers the AAT Advanced Diploma. So if you have an inexperienced applicant, we can also add the AAT Level 2 bookkeeping that gives them the kind of real basic entry-level knowledge. It's priced around £8,000, which will come out in monthly instalments from your levy pot, or if you're an SME, you'll pay 5%, which is around £400. Level 4, slightly longer, It's around 18 months. It allows the apprentice to complete their AAT studies or take the full ATT qualification. The level 4 also provides exemptions at level 7, so you can put the apprentice on at level 4 and then put them on a shorter level 7 if that route works better for you. Level 4 costs are the same as the level 3. Now, level 7 can either be something to progress onto, or you could put somebody on it straight away to fast track them through. We'll discuss all this with you in detail at the outset to make sure that we have the right applicant on the right program. Level 7 is a 3 to 4 year program. It could be shorter if you've done level 4 or if you've got exemptions from a relevant degree. It's priced at around £21,000 or just over £1,000 if you're only paying the 5%. This is obviously a brief overview. We'll provide specific pricing on a case-by-case basis, as well as setting out the additional costs such as institute fees, which are not covered by the funding. Now, there is a non-monetary cost implication of the apprenticeship, namely the time cost of the 20% off the job rules. And we'll have a look at these now and come up with an example of how that will work. The funding rules clearly dictate that an apprentice needs to spend 20% of their working hours in learning. This shouldn't be an area of concern, provided you approach things correctly. Firstly, tuition and revision classes under apprenticeship should be done in work time. Any use of evening or weekend classes require you to provide time in lieu to balance this out. This lets us clearly set out in advance how many hours we know the apprentice will be with us in class for their professional qualification and skills days. We can then put a figure on the balance of hours that need to be recorded whilst they are with you in the workplace. So here's an example of a 3-year apprenticeship based on 37.5 hours per week. 20% equals 942 hours. ACCA, for example, normally requires 602 hours in class, and the skills days contribute another 70 hours. This counts for 672 working hours over the course of the program. The balance is 270. That's less than 2 hours per week of the apprentice's time in work that needs to be evidenced as learning. Perhaps you allow the odd afternoon as additional exam prep, but crucially, there are day-to-day working activities that can count as well. Shadowing a more senior colleague to learn a new job task, attending internal training, for example, a new system being brought into the workplace. We'll take you through any areas where working practices can count as new learning, thus minimizing the impact of staff being out of the office. Your skills coach will help make the process of recording and documenting this evidence simple using the online e-portfolio. So let's finish with why you should choose First Intuition as your apprenticeship provider. Our expert, dedicated, experienced tutors give your student the best preparation for passing their exams. Whilst many other providers have centralized teams for customer service and skills coaches, ours are all locally based. So they know their clients and students personally and provide unrivaled levels of service and support. Under normal circumstances, when students can travel again, our centres are conveniently located to make it easy to get to. Our comprehensive learning materials and award-winning online learning platform provides students with a host of useful tools to learn from. For computer-based exams, students can come just straight into centre and sit these with us. Our unique Impact Skills programme provides face-to-face training on the soft skills elements. This is a major difference to other providers where skills and behaviours training tends to be online and left to the apprentice to struggle through at their own pace. Often this gets left right until the end when it's no longer in sync with the rest of the programme and it just all becomes a bit of a struggle. Finally, we appreciate that sometimes a barrier to bringing new apprentices into a business is the time it takes to recruit and sift through applications. We work closely with local schools and colleges to promote careers in accountancy. We can provide free support to drive interested applicants towards your vacancies, as well as providing help with sifting applicants based on your specific candidate requirements. So there we have it, a whistle-stop tour, 15-minute tour of the key points and information on accountancy apprenticeships. There's loads more to discuss. No doubt you'll have specific queries and requirements that we can help you with. If so, please get in touch. I'll be happy to chat further, either by a phone or email or web-based chat. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we can pop out for a visit and get to know your business and how we can support you. In the meantime, take care. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this video.